Good afternoon. Welcome to Woodbridge, the best town around. My name is John McCormick. I'm the mayor of this great town. And we're here today at one of the most fun, if not the most fun event of the year for kids in Woodbridge Township, which is Big Wheels Day. We have dozens and dozens of trucks from all different industries here, public works, emergency vehicles, trucking company, utility companies, you name it, they're all here. But we're talking today about a very special program that the township has done. We have 3 brand new electric garbage trucks and 3 brand new senior citizen shuttle buses. I have a whole bunch of people here up at the dais who are going to explain things better than I can, but I will give you some details. From the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, we got $2.5 million for 3 electric garbage trucks. So we got these trucks for free, folks. 2 electric shuttles and charging infrastructure. And then we got another 104 e-mobility program grant for 1 additional electric shuttle. So there's 6 electric vehicles in all, and they're wonderful for us, and we'll let everybody talk about them in a minute. But I want to thank everybody who made this Big Wheels Day possible. Let me quickly introduce the people on the dais. We have James Sherman, who is the CEO of Climate Change Mitigation Technologies and Woodbridge's electric vehicle fleet consultant. We have Joe Annuzzi, who runs our sanitation department, who uses the trucks. George Brew, who's the head of Public Works. We have Carla Iometti, who's from Sanitation Equipment Corp., which provided the trucks. To my left is current chief of staff and the head of our sustainability division, Carolyn Ehrlich. To her left is Sharon McAuliffe, First Ward Councilwoman. To her left is Melissa Avenego, DEP Assistant Director for Air Monitoring and Mobile Sources. And to her left, the woman responsible for all the success of the Public Works Department, works behind George Brew, Samantha Garrity. So let me start by turning this over to Carolyn Ehrlich, who, as the head of our sustainability division, is involved in everything green in Woodbridge Township, and ask her to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you everybody who's here and made the arrival of these vehicles happen. As Director of Redevelopment, we try to make sure that every project that we do is thinking about the environment and the long-term environment to make sure that the roads are going to be clean, pedestrian friendly, and leads to a vibrant community. As head of the Sustainability Division, we walk the walk and we drive the drive, and we look forward to be driving in electric vehicles. We have been named the most sustainable town in New Jersey, and we're very proud of it. And what we're doing today is the reason why we are considered the most sustainable town. What a wonderful feeling it is to know that our seniors, as they're getting on their shuttle bus, will not be breathing in air from these idling buses. And to know that as these new garbage trucks are driving through the towns, they will not be polluting our air. And this is an absolute wonderful thing, and I thank everybody on this dais for making that happen.
All righty, now the guy who's responsible for our Department of Public Works, which is an outstanding department. Just ask anybody around about our garbage, about our recycling, about our roads, about our sewers, about our parks, about our snow removal, you name it. We're the best at it because of all the men and women of Public Works led by the great George Brew. George, can you say a few words?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to start with a little brief history of when and how this whole project started. So back in 2019, we were approached by one of our vendors, Hudson Motors, good friend of ours, and we do a lot of our vehicle upgrades with them and sanitation equipment, and there was an opportunity to apply for a grant for these electric vehicles. They thought we'd be a good fit for it just because the fact that we're constantly upgrading our fleet, trying to keep us, better emissions on our diesel vehicles, and this is bringing us to the next level. So Tom Delguado, Carl Iometti, Hudson Motors, James Sherman, we put a team together, and we've been working on this actually since 2019, and we just are getting the trucks. You see, they're brand new right now, so we just received them. So the trucks we did receive, the Class 8 garbage trucks, this is a hook and go. This is the first hook and go truck in the country. You might call it a roll-off truck. That's the first one that was ever built in the country. The rear load sanitation vehicle, there's a few of them out there. We have a side load truck on its way. You know, with this program, we decommissioned 6 vehicles that were high polluting, diesel emission, very poor fuel consumption diesel trucks. That was part of the program. You know, they literally got cut in half. We put holes in the engine blocks. We had to, it was kind of like a cash for clunkers, where we had to be sure that these trucks were not going to be on the road ever again. It is a big savings for us, you know, as far as a maintenance standpoint. Diesel vehicles, they do what they call regenning. These trucks no longer do that. They don't have internal combustion engines, so there's no oil changes, there's no diesel fuel going in them, so the maintenance is projected to be a lot worse and less, and I believe it definitely will be. I do have to thank a few people here. We started this out with Peg Hanna, the New Jersey DEP. If it wasn't for the DEP, we would not have gotten this done. As I said, we started in 2019. Very, very lengthy process. Vehicle technology changed, charging infrastructure technology changed, and you know, there was a time capsule on this project, and the DEP stood by us the entire time, understanding that the challenges that we were meeting were far more than any of us thought, but we got to where we are today. Again, I think I mentioned, well, Peg Hanna, Sean LaTourette, I'm sorry, Chris Dahl and Colleen Opreza really were instrumental in us getting this done. They're here in the audience, they're standing here. Very important in getting this done. On our end, from, you know, the administration, you know, you can't do something like this if you don't have the confidence that in the mayor, the administration, the entire town council supports projects like these all along. And we could never get this done without that support. So thanks to the mayor, the town council, the whole administration that stood behind us when we started this project. When we applied for the grant, we weren't sure how it was going to go, and it worked out very well, as the mayor said. On our DPW side, I really have to thank some of the people who have already retired that we started this project with. But Joe Rudy, who's here, it was just on the mic earlier. Joe Annuzzi, who runs our sanitation department. Kevin Tehan runs our road department. He's responsible for this truck. That's a tree truck. James Cepas and John Mazza, 2 guys, this project started so long ago, they've already retired. All right. But it's important to mention them just because they were such a key part in getting this done. Samantha Garrity's is my right hand, and Megan Kushba. I mean, she really oversaw this grant, very time consuming, and thanks to Megan for everything. Tom Flynn, and everyone else who I may or may have not missed here, but I really think it's another great aspect of what we've done. Diane is here from Senior Transportation, Diane Mantagas. She's going to oversee the running of the electric shuttle buses. It's going to be a challenge for her, training her employees. But driving that electric bus is just like driving any Ford bus we have right now. So I think it's going to be a good fit for her department. Everybody else that's here, the Environmental Commission, everyone else has been very instrumental into this, and thank you. Mayor?
Thank you, George. Here's your notes. So George mentioned the commissioner of the DEP, Sean LaTourette. I would like our next speaker, Melissa Avanego, who is the Assistant Director of Air Monitoring and Mobile Sources for the DEP, to come up and say a few words, and please carry our thanks back to Commissioner LaTourette when you get back to the office.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. What a great event. Look at all these trucks. So I understand this event is every year. So I think, hopefully through the year, this parking lot will change from fossil fuel vehicles to electric vehicles. So again, thank you for inviting me and the DEP team to this event. It's very timely that here on Earth Week, we celebrate Woodbridge's commitment to the environment by highlighting the 6 electric vehicles that were purchased by Woodbridge. Since taking office, Governor Murphy has been committed to reducing emissions from fossil-fueled equipment and vehicles which release pollutants that are harmful to human health and contribute to the formation of smog. 37% of New Jersey's greenhouse gas emissions come from the transportation sector, which is why since 2019, the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection has been providing funding incentives towards equipment electrification with a focus on urban areas disproportionately impacted by diesel emissions. Woodbridge was one of the first municipalities that partnered with DEP on the electrification of medium and heavy-duty vehicles. While electric vehicles do cost more, DEP has been providing grants to offset the additional costs associated with these vehicles. Again, since Woodbridge was one of the early adopters, they received funding for the full cost of the vehicles, with at around $2.5 million in funding the 3 garbage trucks and the 3 electric shuttle buses. Again, transitioning away from fossil-fueled vehicles is especially important because the garbage trucks and the shuttles will operate in residential areas on a daily basis. The electric vehicles bring instant air quality benefits and human health benefits to the residents of Woodbridge while saving the town money on maintenance and fueling costs. The shuttle buses that will be part of the senior transportation of Woodbridge fleet is perfect since the senior community is vulnerable to the harmful diesel emissions that come from the diesel vehicles. Again, I want to thank Woodbridge and their partners for working with DEP through the early stages of this grant program. Electrification projects, like George said, take a long time. There's more planning. There's a lot more that's involved and you have to think about. There were growing pains and lessons learned by all parties, and we also then had to experience COVID with slowdowns of work and delays in of equipment. But Woodbridge was steadfast in their commitment to the environment, and being good stewards, environmental stewards, they saw this project to completion. Woodbridge is setting an example to the community and their business owners to say that it's important, and they're leading by example, transitioning their own fleet. I'm happy to announce that Zap Electric, which is another DEP grant partner, will be installing 8 electric fast charging stations along Route 9 here in Woodbridge by Miller's Ale House and Longhorn Steakhouse. So these high-powered fast charging stations will be open to the public in the coming years. So thank you again, Mayor McCormick, for your leadership. Thank you to Megan, Vito, and George, as well as others in Woodbridge for making this project happen. Thank you to the partners at Hudson County Motors and CCMT that aided in the project, and a special thank you to the DEP team, Chris and Colleen, who worked really hard with Woodbridge on making this project happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. So you stated that you would like to see more electric vehicles here next year at Big Wheels Day. We'll do it. Just give us some more money. Now I'd like to call up James Sherman, the CEO of Climate Change Mitigation Technologies and Woodbridge's Electric Vehicle Fleet Project Consultant, to say a few words. James?
Thank you, Mayor McCormick, and thank you to everybody who came today. James Sherman from Climate Change Mitigation Technologies, and we were the consultant and project manager for this project. Well, it's a beautiful clean air day here in Woodbridge to celebrate this event, marking Woodbridge's, what I'll call the tip of the spear deployment here. And I say that because it's a combination of medium and heavy duty zero emission vehicles and shuttle buses that are impressive because of their size, their variety, and especially their utility here in the community every day. And it's not surprising to me that Woodbridge is the first to make this major deployment at the municipal level. We're here today in no small part because of the vision and the belief of the mayor, of Chief of Staff Carolyn Ehrlich, George, and others in Woodbridge Township government that believed this was the right thing to do. They knew it was the right thing to do for Woodbridge, for society, and for the planet. They were prepared to break trail, and that's exactly what they've done. And I want to salute George and Joe and Megan and Tom for doing it. Now others can follow. It's true, things did take a little longer than we expected, and I know George and Joe Rudy and others took some ribbing from the guys about whether this was ever going to happen, but here we are, and there they are. With Joe and George and everybody in Woodbridge, it was always full speed ahead. So on this Earth Day in 2025, when environmental protection and science itself are under direct attack, this deployment is the premier example and now the standard bearer of what cities and towns across New Jersey can and should be doing to decarbonize their fleets so everybody can breathe easier. I know George isn't done and there's more to come, so stay tuned. I'm just deeply appreciative for the opportunity to be part of the team along with everybody else here on the dais and out in the audience. So everybody, please take a deep breath, enjoy the beautiful day here in Woodbridge, and we'll see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much once again to everybody who made this possible. This is monumental in Woodbridge Township, first in the state, first in the country. I love hearing words like that. We like being the first. We like being the trailblazer and doing things nobody else is doing. I want to thank everybody that's already been thanked, Tom and Cush and Nicole on the sustainability team, everybody from Public Works, George, Joe, everybody else, Joe Rudy, everybody, Megan and the grant team, John Haggerty for putting this event together with Megan and with Kelly Walsh, that's Kelly with an IE, for those of you who's keeping score at home. This is a team effort because Woodbridge is a team. We all work well together. The mayor, the council, the administration, the department heads, the rank and file workers, you name it, everybody works to make this the best town around. And today you just saw why we are. Thank you very much. Now we're going to do a little ribbon cutting in front of the vehicles. So please stick around for a minute as we welcome these new vehicles to our fleet. Thank you for participating today.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome new electric vehicles to town.